N-N-U-N-G-S.
Oh, it's on the screen. That's yeah. Dang it. Okay, before we get going, I want to share. I feel like good. Please mute yourself unless you have something to say, because otherwise it gets pretty dicey with all the noise in here. So, hi, Miss May. It's nice to see you. Don't worry, Alexie will be on shortly. She's got to do the last touches to her hair. But I want to go over a couple of things that came up for me this week from a coaching standpoint, from an MD standpoint. Not because I think anyone in our organization is doing this, but just some of the stuff that I'm hearing from other agents and other companies. Like, let's just make sure we're not doing this. For instance, you've made an offer on a place. It gets rejected or whatever, but then they lower the price. The other agent lowers the price to below what you made the offer on. Well, hopefully you're going to call that agent, or that agent's going to call you and say, hey, guess what? I'm just lowering the price to below what you offered, so we probably can do business again, and not just expect you to find it out through the wind. That happened, so we lost a deal because this other agent out there just didn't do that. Making weird offers that don't seem to have a lot of sense out there. I know you're not doing that, but I just want to make sure that all of us are operating at the highest. I just made Mark mad, that's fine. Operating at the highest level of integrity. In our mission statement, our pledge is to deliver truly remarkable service. And that's for our clients, but honest to goodness, everybody, it's also for those other agents out there. And it's not a recruiting thing, but I just want every other agent out there to think of our CDDP offices as like the cornerstones of integrity, the pillars of the place where those people do real estate right. You all know that real estate agents are near the bottom of any trust research polls out there of like, who do you trust? Well, we're a little bit above lawyers and car servicemen. So it's incumbent upon us in this company to make sure that we are helping raise that level of trust and integrity and reliability in all of our dealings. So I know I sound like I'm lecturing, but my son wasn't listening to me this morning, so you're getting the brunt of it. Let's just make sure that we are operating at the highest level, that we go above and beyond, even for those agents out there that we think that person doesn't deserve a call back from me or my time, whatever. Make that call. Be of service to them and show them. Lead by example is basically what I'm saying. Okay, so speaking of leading by example, and Alexie, I'm almost done. Let me share my screen. Make sure everybody has seen these numbers and that you are using them. This was our from the Real Trends report. We went over this in depth a couple weeks ago, but it bears repeating, I think. Coldwell Banker, you need to have this in your mental script, in your mind. We are the number 3 largest real estate company in the U.S., according to Real Trends, both in size and in volume. So when someone's saying, well, I'm not sure if you guys are the company, like, we're in the top 3, okay? That's a big deal. $188 billion in volume in 2017. Our quotable says $242 billion because that's beyond the Real Trends 500. That's like the Real Trends 2000 or whatever. But $188 billion, that's a pretty good number. Our company in particular, which is all 7 of our offices, 197 of our agents, growing by day. We're the 458th largest real estate company in the U.S. in size, 483rd in volume. This is for last year. We're number 34 in Coldwell Banker. That's awesome. Fastest growing company, percentage in growth, size, as well as in volume. 5-year growth, we are number 13 in terms of size. In the last 5 years, our company has grown 274% in size, as well as 468% in increased volume. Okay, so why am I showing you these? Because I just think it's not bragging, it's just the facts. So when you're up against someone in a listing presentation or someone's like, well, I'm just not sure. Like, we've got these numbers and we've got the support, everything from corporate services, from Alexie down to your OMs and MDs, and in Bozeman, even Jeff sometimes. So we've got it all there. Just make sure you're using that and you know how to use your numbers to benefit your clients. Jeff, I was just kidding you, buddy. All right. Now, that's enough from me, and we are going to jump into Alexie Liu, who is going to talk to us more in depth about Facebook. Lexi, I've got about 4 or 5 of our agents' Facebook sites up. If you ever just want to look at someone, I've got Keenan, Stephanie, Christy, Josh Fields, and then Christopher Chu, the Beverly Hills agent. So if you're ever like, look at this or whatever, I can pull those up, but don't need to. Okay?
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Derek.
Okay. All right. I'll mute myself.
Just piggybacking on that real trends information that Derek just went through. For those of you who were not on the fan club last time or are unaware, we do have some marketing materials that we created for you. They are in IQ Office. If you go into the Files, Documents Library, Marketing Materials folder, there's a folder called Real Trends, and there's a few marketing materials in there that you can use to email or to post onto your Facebook, etc. So that is really exciting for us. And then moving into Facebook advertising, I'm going to show you, I'm going to go through the process today of how exactly you can run an ad on Facebook, how you can track and measure it, how you can target different people and decide what your objective is. So hopefully we can all be running ads after this meeting. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, everyone can see the Facebook page? Yes? Good, okay. Okay, so when you log into Facebook, you have a number of options over here on the left-hand side. If the Ads Manager is not an option for you right off the bat, just click See More down here. It might just not appear because you haven't used it yet, but it'll appear in that list. So you'll want to go into the Ads Manager specifically. When you click on this, it's going to take you into what looks like a different area of Facebook to go ahead and create your ads. So you can see here, there's a number of campaigns that I have run in the past. It tells me that they've completed and the results from each one of them. This obviously is very important and good information to know when you're tracking and measuring, to know which ads are performing better than others, what you are and aren't allowed to do. So you can see this one is not delivering. It has 1 error in it, so I need to go in and check that one. And then I can see up here, you know, our recruiting ads have had 414 clicks. They've reached 22,352 people and had 91,298 impressions, all for only 48 cents per click to get them back to the website. So to start your ad, you're going to do is click Create right down here. It's a big green button. Now you're going to choose what your objective is. So depending on what your ad is and depending on what your goal is, this is going to change. I would say that most of the time you're going to choose traffic or engagement.
Hey,
yes?
Just real quick. So a couple, 3 weeks ago, we did sort of a less involved version of this where we talked about boosting versus ads. Okay, I think most agents spend their time boosting things. And just so we're clear, this is not boosting. This is making actual ads. And Lexi, maybe real quick before you get into the nuts and bolts of it, why would I be doing this instead of boosting? Or is that part of your overall presentation? I just want to make sure everybody knows what we're doing. It's not boosting. This is ads. Very different thing.
Yeah, so basically the Ads Manager is just a much more robust, in-depth version of boosting. So boosting is just quick and easy. You already have audiences created, and your only objective is going to be exposure to get people to click on that and get back to your page. It's not really going to be driving people to outside websites. The targeting that you can do is much more limited in the boosting, and it's just something that you can take a post that you've already posted. Facebook recognizes that that post has done pretty well, so it suggests that you boost it to get more exposure. When you're going and creating an ad, you're not taking a post that you've already posted, you're creating everything from scratch. So there's, kind of one of the differences there is you can only boost a post that's already been posted to your timeline, and you create an ad from scratch. That kind of helps? Okay. So like I said, you're most of the time going to probably want to choose traffic or engagement, meaning that with traffic, you want to drive people back to a website or a specific landing page. And engagement, you want them to like, comment, and share your post. So depending on what your goal is there, you'll select one of these. I'm going to go ahead and select traffic. So you can see the campaign name down here automatically fills in traffic. So you want to make sure that each time that you create an ad, you remember to replace this with something that you will recognize so you know which ad this is. So I'm just going to put YCBDP April 2018. Go ahead and continue. And here's where it's going to take us into who we want to target. So as I have said on Facebook, you can target very narrowly. You can target broad. You can target your feeder markets. You can make sure that people in your local markets are seeing these ads as well as people in your feeder markets. You can type in, likely to move as far as a demographic, and it's pretty crazy how narrowed it can get. So again, up here at the top, you have your ad set name. So if I was going to create a campaign and I was going to write, or I was going to then within the campaign create a couple different ads, this is where I would name them right here. So for example, I run recruiting ads. So I create a recruiting campaign, and then I create one ad specific to Bozeman, specific to Steamboat, specific to Vail, specific to Grand Junction, etc. So right here in the ad set name is where you can differentiate that. If you're just creating a campaign with one ad in it, you can literally just call it the same thing as you did the campaign. So I'm going to put YCBDP April 2018, just keep it all consistent so I know exactly what it is. For traffic, I am going to drive people back to my website, which I always suggest that's what you do. And we're going to talk about that more of how that looks exactly, but driving them back to your website to collect their information and generate a lead for yourself is going to be the most useful of this ad. You can create an offer if you want. So if you're offering something like a free CMA or a percentage off this, or even if you're doing something fun like win a gift card to a restaurant, anything like that, you can create an actual offer. I don't do that very often when we're running our ads, and it doesn't make a huge difference. It just literally depends on whether you're giving something away or not. The audience, once you create an audience, you can see right here, you can use a saved audience. So I've already created this YCBDP 2018, so I could go and select that one, Vail feeder markets, Telluride, Sun Valley, etc. So once you create these, you'll have a list to choose from. I'm going to go ahead and just type in some demographics so that you all can see how this works exactly. So I'm as far as locations, I'm saying everyone in this location, but you can change it to people who live in this location, people who are recently in this location. So for some of the resort markets, that's pretty important because not a lot of those second and third homeowners live in the location, but they maybe were recently there during some of the peak seasons. And then again, people traveling in this location. So knowing your objective is going to be important. I'm just going to keep it as everyone in this location for now. So if I wanted to do Y Coldwell Banker and I just wanted to get some mass exposure on each one of our local markets, I can just start typing in an area. It's going to autofill, and then you can see all the different options I have here to select. So I just want to do Bozeman, Montana, because that's one of our markets. I just want people there to see us. I'll increase this by 50, up to 50 miles instead of just a 25-mile radius, just giving us a little bit more of a reach. You can see this in the upper right here, this audience defining tool is going to tell you how specific and broad it is, and then it's going to estimate your daily results. Your estimated daily results also will vary depending on how much money you put into it in your budget, which we'll look at that when we get a little further. So if we wanted to do Bozeman, we also maybe want to do Big Sky because Big Sky is right near there, so we'll do that. As you can see, we get a little bit broader of a reach. We'll add this to 50 miles as well, go out a little further. We'll come into Colorado. We'll do Vail, Colorado, so you can have the city. Completely, obviously, jumps there on the map. We'll increase this to 50 miles as well, giving us the most exposure. And again, you can watch this audience estimated daily results change as you're targeting people. So if we wanted to target these areas and we wanted to target people who are likely to move, Oh, am I in the wrong space here? Oh, yes, here, sorry, detailed targeting. Okay, sorry, confused you there. So this is just gonna be locations of where we wanna go, and then we'll scroll down to get a little bit more detailed on who we wanna target. So then you've got your ages right here. If you know that you want to, people who are in their mid-20s, depending on the price of the property or who you're trying to target, you can do that right down here. You can leave it at 18 to 65 plus. That's all obviously a broad audience and could be fine. So I'm just going to change it to 22. You can enter specific languages if you want to, if that makes a difference for some of your markets. And then we've got detailed targeting. So then you can see right here, include people who match at least one of the following. And then you also have exclude people. So if you wanted to exclude people who have not skied in the last 10 years, you could do something like that. If we want to include people who skiing is something that they like to do, we just start typing in skiing. You will see the autofill here. So we've got night skiing, ski resort, atomic skiing, just skiing. It's going to show you over here on the right if it's an interest or a behavior. So skiing, golfing, and boating as a behavior, that's probably a good demographic. People who like to ski, golf, and boat could probably be homeowners in one of those markets, or be looking in one of those markets. It'll again show you the size to the right, so 30 million people that will be reaching. The purchase behavior, buyer profile, skiing, golfing, and boating. So I'm going to select this one. You can watch the daily results change as we type that in. We want them to be likely to move.
So that was kind of cool really quick. So when you hovered over the skiing, it said 30 million people. That's Facebook wide. Obviously not in the ones up on the top right that you were looking at. So it says how many in the big picture, but then it tells you now your audience is about 37,000 people, which went down a little bit, but that's because you've limited who this is going to. But that was kind of cool to see.
So then we've added a behavior. We've said we want them to be likely to move. You can do things like they just had a baby. So if you're looking for people that want to maybe upgrade into a neighborhood, or downsizing if they just had a kid leave for college. So you can get very detailed here. So again, I mean, as you just start typing something in, you will see you have so many options to choose from. And again, it will show you how many people you're reaching. So if I'm looking at this, for example, snowboard is only 7 million, while snowboarding is 57 million. So if I'm going to try and target snowboarders, I'm probably going to go with snowboarding as an interest, and then I'll find a snowboard as a behavior. So with interest and behaviors, you kind of want to keep those consistent. Again, you can exclude people or narrow audience. I always check this box. It says expand interest when it may increase link clicks at a lower cost per link. So basically, if someone likes golfing and they like snowboarding, but snowboarding is not necessarily one of the behaviors that I've selected, but golfing is, it's going to recognize that. It's going to expand the interest. It's going to then reach those people, even though they may not be skiing, golfing, and boating. You can add connections if you would like to, and then you can save the audience. So I'm just going to save the audience. It's going to automatically put in your name, so you want to make sure that you change this each time so you don't have a million Alexie Rusk audiences, because then you can't differentiate them. So I would put Bozeman area, Vail area, likely to move, skiing, golfing, boating. That's super specific. I know exactly what it is. And that way, when I come back and I want to run a similar ad, I can select that same exact audience, and I can test what they're clicking on when what they like better when I'm running ads. It also is convenient that then when you go and boost a post, you have those saved audiences as options to choose. So it makes your boosting a little bit quicker and easier if you want to target the exact same people in both arenas. So we'll scroll down here to budget and placements. So on the placements, I always leave it as automatic. Facebook is going to give you the best placement. They know their audience and their people. They'll put it in front of the people that they think that they should. If you want to edit it for any reason, you have the option to. Automatic is definitely quick and easy and gets you results. For budget and for schedule, you can either choose a daily budget or a lifetime budget, depending on how much you want to spend. So I usually leave it as a lifetime budget, and I do about $10 per day. That's kind of a sweet spot there. So if I'm going to run it for a week, I usually do $70. You can usually get away with, 40 or 50 as well, just depending on how many clicks you want and what you want those results to be. The money's going to make a difference. So we can see here, so I'm just going to leave it at $70 because I'm going to do it for 1 week. So we'll start it today, April 27th. It's telling me that my start date is in the past because we're past 11/13. So I'll just change this to 11/30. And then we'll go ahead and click on the calendar here and make sure that this ends 1 week from now on May 3rd. I'll spend a total of $70. So where this changes a little bit is when I reach $70, my budget is up. And I could reach $70 the first day. And if that happens, the ad is over in the first day. That just means that I got a lot of exposure, I got a lot of clicks, and I used up my entire cost per click budget. Same with the daily budget. The only difference is if you do the daily budget, you can still do a start and an end date, but you know that you'll have at least $20 every day to use. So it's totally up to you. If you could literally do the $10 per day for 7 days, and you'll spend $70, or you could do the lifetime budget of $70. You'll spend the same, but it'll change your results. So the reason I do the lifetime budget is because as we all know, some days and some times are higher and hotter on Facebook than others. So I don't want to limit myself to $10 per day. If that is a day that a ton of people are on there and I'm getting a lot of action on my ad, I don't want to cut them off just because I'm then going to start over the next day. I want to get as much action as I can for the cheapest that I can, which seems to work better with the lifetime budget. So again, totally up to you, but I suggest the lifetime budget. The optimization, so link clicks is what I'm going to choose. That means that I am going to get charged when somebody actually clicks on the link. I don't want to get charged that's this one right here. When you get charged on impressions or link clicks. I do it on link click because I want to be charged only when somebody actually clicks on it, gets to my website, not when someone just sees my ad. So I always change it to a link click there. Link clicks is going to be the optimization. The bid amount, again, I always leave as automatic because I want the most amount of action for the least amount of money. And automatic is going to get you that.
Lexie?
Yes?
Why would anyone pay for impressions? I mean, because that's like, I think your number was 10 times as many as what you get for a click. So why is that even on there? It seems like a sucker's choice.
So the only reason I think that you would choose impressions, if an agent just joined us, or an agent is brand new, or you just got global luxury certified, smart home certified, if you just literally want your face plastered in front of people, or your ad, whatever it is that you're creating, you just want people to see it. You don't necessarily care whether they click on something. You're not driving them to a lead form. You just really want to get the news out about something. Impressions will probably give you more for your money at that point.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the other thing that was rattling in my brain is like, what if I don't get my $20 worth of clicks or my $70 worth of clicks? I'm not going to be charged that maximum amount if I run it for 7 days and I only get 15 clicks totaling $34. I'm only going to be charged $34, correct?
Correct. Yep. It's not gonna just overcharge you for results you didn't get.
Okay.
And I don't know that I've ever even had that happen. Facebook advertising is a pretty strong thing these days, and people do click and interact, and I don't think that I've actually even had that happen. So that's a good thing. So we'll leave the delivery type as standard. So we'll show the ads throughout our selected schedule, wherever they kind of recommend. So our estimated daily results at the end of the day is 1,300 to 3,700 people, with about 17 to 72 link clicks per day. So that's a decent amount. And again, this is at a daily budget for a week, so that's over $70, just to notice there. So we'll do continue here, and then we'll get into where we actually upload the image and where we want to drive people to. So again, right up here, we've got the default name, traffic. So we want to make sure that we change that so that we know what this is. So I'm doing YCBDP April 2018. You can use an existing post right over here or create the ad. So if you created an ad in the past, you can go ahead and just select it. You'll select which Facebook page you want this to be posted on. So a lot of you, I think, probably have personal pages and business pages. This is where you'll select that. So you'll go ahead and drop down to whichever page you want this to be running on. It'll also connect to your Instagram account if you have it connected. This is going to get you a ton more exposure because it's going to then be advertised on Facebook and on Instagram. And these ads end up going out on different platforms. So, for example, I was scrolling through an article on one of our local Grand Junction news stations and came across one of Todd's videos. So it was one that we started on Facebook, but it also then shows up on Instagram and on other websites. So having the Instagram account is going to give you just that much more exposure while you're already paying for this and doing the work. In the format, you have a couple of different options, and there's been a lot of testing and tracking on what works best, and definitely video is number one. So if you can use a video, you're going to get that much more exposure, that much more engagement, and hopefully that many more clicks to your website. The carousel and the single image have kind of gone back and forth of which one works best, so you could run a test ad and use them both parallel to each other, or you could just choose one, test another one later. Again, they kind of go back and forth. I guess that also depends on how many images you have and you want to use. So for now, I'm just going to leave it as a single image. So we'll go ahead and scroll down into the building the ad. So this is where I'll upload the image. So we'll go into, go ahead and upload this. So then you can see the ad right here on the right start to be created. So you can make sure that the page is correct. So Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties instead of Alexie Rusk. So you'll make sure that it's your business page. You can see the headline right here, display URL, and then the newsfeed link description all right here. And then over here on the left is where you'll put them in. So here's the display link field, here's the newsfeed link description field, and here's the headline field. And then the text will go ahead and show up above the image. So the website URL, as we discussed at the beginning, our goal is to drive people back to a specific landing page and get them to fill out a lead form. So I have created this landing page for people to come to when they click on the ad. It has a little bit of information, and then it's got a form for them to fill out and submit to create a lead. You can do this on your website. The only thing that you need to do to be able to get this done on your website is get with me, let me know what your lead source is going to be. So for example, my lead source for this would be 2018 YCBDP Facebook ads. Very specific, I know where the leads are coming from. You give that source to me, and you let me know which fields right here you want them to fill out. This is completely customizable. You can have first name, last name, email, how many beds do you want, how many baths do you want, what price range are you looking, what market do you live in, what was the last activity you did during the summer. You can have anything that you want. So any questions that you want to ask there, you would just send to me, here's my lead source, here's the questions that I want to ask. I create this for you in the admin section of IQ Office, and then it's something that you just literally select to put onto your website. If you want to do this, I'm going to work with you individually on this. So please let me know. Send me an email, and we'll get a meeting scheduled so that we can, walk through your plan and your goals. So I'm not going to go totally in depth on that, but I want you to know that you have this ability and that tracking and measuring is so important. The biggest thing with this, if someone gets to this landing page and they've put in their information and click submit at the bottom and that lead comes to me, I know 1,000,000% that the only way that that lead got to me was because they clicked on my Facebook ad. Because this page cannot be found unless somebody clicks on that ad. So instead of adding it as a menu item here at the top and letting just an organic user reach it as well, we keep it very specific and only the people who click on the Facebook ad can get to it. That being said, you can duplicate the page and basically make as many as you want that are essentially the exact same, just with different sources. So if you were going to do a direct mail campaign and send a postcard that was the exact same content that you have on your Facebook ad, and you want to drive people back to your website, I would say it's probably going to be the best idea to have one landing page like this that this domain here at the top came from the direct mail, and then another one that's very, very similar, basically the exact same, but maybe it has a 1 after it, and we know that one then came from the Facebook ads. So then you can really see who's responding to your direct mail and your postcards and who's responding to your Facebook. You can do that for any lead source that you do. So I just wanted you to know this is super important, and you do have the ability to create custom lead forms on your website.
Alexie, this is fantastic. Yeah. And so this is basically like you can have a single landing page is basically what you've created here, right?
Yep.
It's got one purpose, which is to capture lead information. And there's only one way to get there, which is your Facebook ad. So all of this is tied together. This is awesome stuff. Can you tell me, and if you don't know, that's okay, what would the URL be if I'm doing this? I'm Derek Svenningson, an agent. Would it be that URL, or is it going to have D. Svenningson in there somewhere?
It's going to have D. Svenningson in there. So depending on what your domain is, it's going to have this at the very beginning. So some of you have custom domains. So Jeff, for example, he has jeffrenovier.com. So his would be jeffrenovier.com/ whatever the page is that he creates. So when I created this page, I called it Why Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties. When you're creating a page, it's going to be directly correlated to what you're running the ad for. So, why Mark Corner Real Estate, or why Coldwell Banker, why choose you with Coldwell Banker. You're going to want to make sure that those match. The other important thing is, so you can see this chart that I have right here. It's the same chart that I'm using in the graphic in the ad. So if someone clicks on this, they land on here, they can see they got to the right place. It's not completely different and different images and doesn't have anything to do with the actual ad. It needs to match so that they know that they're not getting scammed and it doesn't look weird, and they know they got to the right spot.
That's awesome. So I hope everybody is grasping the power of what Lexie's been talking about here, which is to say that all of a sudden you have the chance through our company, through working with Alexie, to have your own landing lead capture page, which, boy, those cost money out in the real world. And she's saying you can have multiple ones for the different campaigns you have. So Alexie, thanks a ton for this. And if any of you want to use this, obviously get in touch with Alexie, but I'd love to be a fly on the wall too to see how it works so that we can promote this more, unless it's a ton of work, Alexie, and we only want a few people doing it. But this is fantastic. I'm thrilled. Good.
Yeah, no, between you and me and Derek, we can definitely, I can teach you and we can help all the agents.
Well, we know how that goes, right? I have Velcro shoes, you know what I mean?
Oh, Derek, you're good.
Lexie, this is Kristen. I have a question.
Yes.
Previously, I was able to, when I had a different website, create a landing page for an actual property. So like 123mainstreet.com. So I would go into, say, GoDaddy, purchase the 123mainstreet.com, and be able to put that as my landing page URL so that when somebody searches for 123 Main Street, it automatically comes up. Are we able to do that, or does it always have to have the website CB Distinctive, or in my case, I have westlandrealestate.com in the front?
So two different things there. So you do have, in IQ Office, we do have single listing websites for each one of our listings. So you could go and take that URL if you were promoting a specific listing and drive people back to the single listing website. Let me pull one up to show you here and make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
And as you're doing that, Kathy just texted me and said this is exactly what she does, is she drives them to this property website, which is a lead capture site as well.
Yeah, I've done that one where I go ahead and I share it through, but it always has the cbdistinctive.com, then it's like / blah, 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 blah. So I wanted to be able to just make that just the address.com.
Our internet is taking forever today. So the way that the single listing websites work is if you go to the branded single listing website, it's going to have the address and then it's going to have the .cbdistinctive.com. So it's probably not completely accomplishing what you want as far as the domain, but it is going to start with the address and then have your web address after it. So it won't completely be just the property address. Does that make sense?
It sounds like then it's not quite as suave as what Kristen is asking for, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite accomplishing what you're looking for as far as the domain goes. However, if you do take this and use this as your domain, this is specific to that one property. The good thing about the single listing websites versus just sharing it out from the big website is, as you can see with me being on this page, I can't go anywhere else. I can fill out a contact form, but everything that I'm looking at here is about this specific property. There's no menu items at the top for me to just go look around. Whereas if you're on, the CBDP website, once they land on this, they can go around to different pages if they want to. This is a very standalone website.
And is there a lead capture on there?
I guess my question though is, if somebody goes and Googles the website, the actual address of the property, is that going to show up because it's the landing page? It starts off with 105 Sutton Place. So is that going to be at the top of the search, or is it going to go to Zillow and all those other things first?
It'll probably go to those other things, don't you think, Lex?
And Google is a beast. I cannot tell you exactly what you need to do other than straight up pay to have your one domain at the very, very top. It moves and changes all the time. If you're running a Facebook ad with a video of a specific property, Google's going to recognize that as well, and it's going to move you up. If you type in the address though into Google, any web address that this property is on, which is a ton because of IDX feeds, are going to show up. And it just depends on who's putting out the most content and who is the most relevant. So if you're doing Facebook ads and you're promoting this, it's going to increase your chances. Okay,
we've got 19 minutes left at the max, so let's make sure that we go all the way to the end of this process. But this is awesome. I hope you all see the power in what Lexie's presenting here, because man, this is a game changer, I think.
So I just took this this full domain here at the top. You want to make sure you take the entire thing. So don't just copy the CB Distinctive or www. You need the entire thing. So go ahead and copy that. And then when we come back into the Ads Manager, we've got the website URL right here. So we'll go ahead and paste that in. So that is the landing page that they will be driven to as soon as they click on the ad. And then we want to put in our ad copy. So I'm going to just copy and paste from what I have over here. So our text, just to give it a little space there, is also going to be the newsfeed link description. In the newsfeed link description, you have a lot more room for text. So you want to make sure that you put the same thing in there. As you can see here at the top, if someone doesn't click more, they aren't reading the rest of it. Depending on which, if they're on a phone, on a tablet, on a desktop, the ads show up differently. Again, on this newsfeed link description, if they're on a bigger platform, they'll see all of that over on the right-hand side. So you want to make sure that you have that in both places. And then go in and add a headline. So I don't want it to necessarily be why Coldwell Banker distinctive properties. This can be. So do you see where this is all showing up here? So we've got the text up here, and it's appearing right up here at the top. The website URL has pulled in, and it's just going to show cvdistinctive.com. The headline pulls in right down here, and then the newsfeed link text is down at the bottom. So you have a lot of keywords in there. You have a good description. Somebody knows exactly what they're looking at, what they're clicking on, and what they're getting to. So you want to make sure that that is all very clear. Facebook is getting pretty strict and stringent on what they're allowing and how they're pushing out ads. So everything has to be relevant and correlate with each other. What you put on here has got to be the exact same as the landing page you're driving them to, or it's not going to let you do it. So very important there that you keep everything consistent and give a good description. You can turn on a Facebook pixel. I don't do Facebook pixel when I do these types of ads because I'm already tracking it from who comes and fills out this form. Facebook is already going to tell me the clicks, the reach, and the impressions. So I don't really need the pixel to tell me that. And then this form is going to tell me how many actual leads I got. So again, depending on your goal there, you might want to have the pixel. If you have a landing page, for example, for our distinctive client giveaway for the smart home staging kit, and you just want people to be registering, and so you want them to know about it, you might want to put a Facebook pixel on that form, because then it's going to tell you how many conversions you had on that page, which is different than if someone coming and filling out this lead form.
Yeah, Lexie,
does that make sense?
Yeah, go back to the Ads Manager page for 1 second. I just want to offer a caution, which probably goes without saying, but think of your own behavior as a Facebook user. Go up just a bit so that we see not the news feed link description, but the description above the image.
Right here?
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Mine is moving and it's going slow. Our internet is just kind of being
all I'm
slow.
saying is so you see here it says the more piece. Just really be careful. It's almost like those phone calls you make. If you don't have them in 7 seconds, you're probably not going to get them. Don't overdo this piece. You want to hit them fat. This is Facebook, you guys. This is not like sitting down to read an Atlantic monthly article. So make sure you give them something at the beginning that doesn't make them click more all the time, that gives them a reason to want to learn more, and so that they click and go to your page. So just be really thoughtful about that. Think of your own self as a Facebook user. What do you respond to? When do you, figure that out. When do you click on something like this? Use your own behavior as a tool, as a barometer for how you should make your ads. Because if it's working for you, it's probably going to work on other people. Okay, so don't do what doesn't work for you. How's that?
Okay, sorry, my internet went down there for a second, so I lost the computer screen. But yes, exactly what Derek just said. Make it touchy, make it quick, and give. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so then you have a call to action. So you have a drop down of a couple different items here. Listen now, apply now, book now, contact us, learn more, send a message, blah, blah, blah. So you always want to make sure that this is, correlating to what you're advertising. And we will scroll down here to the bottom. You can see right here, it gives you this warning sign because it says that the ad has too much text. It's really important that in your images for Facebook ads, you keep the text to a minimum. So it's probably thinking right now, right here, that where it says the Coldwell Banker brand, etc., to the left of this little white graph is too much text. I always do request manual review because I'm like, it's actually not too much text in that specific thing. I don't even have writing, so they can review it, and a lot of times it works just fine to do that. If it doesn't, and you get an error message back, sometimes if you just go in and recreate the ad, it will work. So sometimes it can be a little bit finicky. Definitely let us know if you're having any issues with that. The other thing is when you're promoting listings, you certainly need to be cautious of the fair housing laws, and Facebook is pretty on it with those. So if it thinks that you are advertising for housing and it's being discriminatory at all, it won't run it. So just be very cautious in kind of your verbiage. If you get any errors like this, you can do a request manual review. And if you have further issues, let us know and we can, find a workaround. Go ahead and hit confirm here at the bottom. So speedy. And my ad has been confirmed. So you can see it's confirmed, it's in review, and then you will get a notification if it's approved or disapproved. So that's where if it's disapproved, let us know if you're having some issues, and we'll try some different verbiage, a different image to get it out there for you. Any questions? Very good.
Anyone need to know any more? I mean, that was about as exhaustive, not exhausting, but as thorough as I think we can get. But I learned some things today about the single listing, the single landing page. That's fantastic. If you're going to use one of the already existing property pages, make sure it has a lead capture form on it. I couldn't tell if the 105 Sutton Place one, if that particular one that you chose, Lexie Lou, has a lead capture. Because can you go back to that screen in the IQO where you can choose the branded SLW or the unbranded or the details page, Lexie?
Yep, let me share my screen again here.
And you can do this for any listing, folks. It doesn't just have to be yours. Obviously, get permission. But see where it says share there? I know I'm pointing and you can't tell what I'm pointing at. See where it says share? There's a details page. I know the details page has a lead capture on it. So show that.
And just so you know, it says test one because that's my website. Since I'm not an agent, my website is test1.cbdistinctive.com. So it won't show up like that for you guys. It'll be your website.
But so this is its own single landing page if you want. See under Alexie. So Alexie's the agent here. This is not her listing. She doesn't live in Sun Valley, boo-hoo. But it looks like it's hers. You can send this out, branded as you, and get that lead capture information. Like, ask the agent who it belongs to, I think, just to be like on the up and up. Hey, can I send out your property? If they say no, then we've got an issue. But it's probably good courtesy. But this is a lead capture page. Right, and it's got the address in the top. Kristen was asking about the URL. It is what it is. I just think it's awesome we have these pages to begin with. But you can put that in your URL if that's where you want it to go. If you're promoting this particular listing and you want that lead capture to be at the top. So you can play around with this. Lexie, here's one of my concerns I would have as an agent. I'm super busy, right? I've got to go golfing and then I have to work out and probably some other stuff. This has taken 45 minutes. Okay, obviously you're going to get better at it from start to finish. If I know what I'm doing to some degree, Lexie, how long is doing an ad going to take me?
So the most time-consuming part of doing the ad is figuring out the content. So what I do is I have a spreadsheet or a Word document. If I have my headline, my text, and my verbiage all ready to go, and the landing page is all ready, going through the ad process is probably 10 minutes or less. It's very quick if you can just copy and paste and stick things in there. I talked a lot more through it, explaining things. I would say 10 minutes or less to actually get through the process. Again, it's the creating the content prior to and figuring out what you're going to say and advertise. That's the more time-consuming part.
Okay, and just like anything technologically based, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And so if you sat through this and it's like, there's no freaking way I can do this. Well, it's because we gave you everything you need to know about this. It's obviously more than you'd have to do on a daily basis. But all I can say is give this a shot and see if you can get people coming to the page you want, more exposure, what have you. Because Facebook is still a pretty good bang for your buck, I think, for both exposure and for driving traffic. Remember, the boosting does the exposure. The ads drive traffic, and that's really what we're talking about today is driving traffic.
Alexie, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
I know that you went through on the left-hand side, on your Facebook page down to Ads Manager. How I've done it before is up on the top right-hand side, like in the settings, if you go down, it says Create Ad. Is that pretty much the same thing, just a different way?
Yes.
Okay.
It is, yep. It'll just show up in some different places depending on your Facebook settings, but just make sure that it says Ads Manager.
Okay.
And then just so you all know too, I just got a message from Facebook saying my ad was approved. So I did the manual review, they looked at it, said it's fine, and it's approved and running now. So just so you know that manual review does work.
But it doesn't work if you've got the word family in there is what we found, just so like Lexi said, make sure you're just being as vague as possible. Single family, no. They don't like those things, so stay away from those and reduce your frustration. Let's unshare and make sure that we all see each other, and if we can wrap up here. And a lot of stuff. You'll get the recording of this if all the technology works. But are there any other big picture questions for Lexi now that we have her expertise on the line here that would help everybody? If you have your own little things, we can obviously talk about those one-on-one. But any big picture stuff?
Yep.
All right, go create some ads.
Okay, and we'll be sure to have Lexi in all the fan clubs because the attendance was much better today, and I appreciate that. So even if she's not going to be in the fan club, I'm going to say special guest, Alexie Rusk.
I think it was the topic, Derek. I don't think it's me. Don't worry.
Okay. You go on with your bad self then. Have a great weekend, everybody. Keep up the awesome work. Don't forget that Real Trends ad stuff is in IQO, in files, marketing Real Trends. Use it, get to know it, put it in your head as part of your script. Talk it up. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Lexi. You're awesome.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks.